Hello, I'm Deacon Peter Loverick, Professor of Homiletics and Director of Diaconate Formation at St. Augustine Seminary in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. On June 29th, St. Augustine Seminary is pleased to offer an online conference titled Preaching Stewardship. That conference is open to clergy and laity and is part of our ongoing series of seminars, workshops, and conferences, all devoted to making Catholic preaching better. This year's conference includes among its presenters Dr. Scott Hahn, His Eminence Cardinal Collins, Dr. Josie Lombardi, Professor at St. Augustine Seminary, and Dr. Mary Elizabeth Callan, Director of Development for His Eminence Cardinal Burke at Our Lady of Guadalupe Shrine. We hope to see you on June 29th for this wonderful event.
On Monday, June 29th, I've been invited to participate in this Preaching Stewardship online conference. I've also been asked to make 2 presentations and to briefly share what I hope to cover. The first presentation is going to be on the road to Emmaus and evangelizing Catholics, focusing on the Eucharist and the new evangelization, and how in the Holy Eucharist we have the fulfillment of the old. But we also get something that is more than just a profound symbol. It is the real presence with practical power for us to live and to share that life with others. The second talk is the sermon on the amount, preaching stewardship in difficult times, because let's face it, we are living in difficult times. So what can we do to invite people to respond to God's grace by tithing from the heart and giving alms as an expression of praise and thanksgiving? I hope you join us. I look forward to being with you virtually. God bless you.
I'm Cardinal Thomas Collins, the Archbishop of Toronto, and I have just finished celebrating Mass here at our St. Michael's Cathedral, and I've come back to the ambo, to the pulpit of our cathedral, to invite you to participate in the 2020 Preaching Conference of St. Augustine Seminary on Monday, June the 29th. For many years I have been convinced that preaching is very important in our mission. And so, along with Deacon Peter Loverick, the Director of Homiletics at St. Augustine Seminary, we put on a conference for many years, asking people to come who are experts in preaching, who will give us great examples of how to preach the Word of God. Normally, that means coming to the seminary and spending some time there listening directly to the speakers. But because of the pandemic, we've changed it this year, and so it is going to be done in a kind of a virtual way, as many things will be done these days, on Monday, June the 29th. But we have some wonderful speakers, and the theme what we're going to be emphasizing this year is stewardship, which is that profound reality that each one of us is entrusted by the Lord with our life, with our time, our talent, our treasure, with our mission as disciples of the Lord. He gives us our ability to serve Him in this world, and we need to make use of the gifts He has given us for the glory of God and for the service of our neighbor. And so that'll be the theme for this year's conference, this year's virtual preaching conference. We're very glad to have speakers who will be leading us in that day. Dr. Scott Hahn, of course, will be speaking to us, also Dr. Josephine Lombardi and Sister Mary Callan and myself. And together we will seek to help everyone become more deeply engaged in that profound and important mission of preaching. This year we are also going to emphasize somewhat the idea of lay preaching. And so I would invite all clergy and laity who are interested in joining in this to participate in our 2020 St. Augustine Seminary Preaching Conference with the theme of stewardship on Monday, June the 29th.
It's been about 9 months since I was invited to speak at the Preaching Stewardship Conference. In that short amount of time, we've gone from being a wounded church to being a wounded church in a very, very wounded world. My name is Mary Callan, and I'm Director of Development at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I've been working in development and stewardship in development for over 25 years now. I've worked at the diocesan level, at the parish level, and I've worked in the private sector too, in corporate environments. In that 25 years, we've seen 9/11, we've seen the Great Recession, we've seen many crises, and now we see a global pandemic. And I've always learned that when you're in the middle of a crisis, when you're facing a crisis, the most important thing to do is get back to the fundamentals. And there is nothing more fundamental than development and stewardship in the church. Because what could be more fundamental than stewarding the very gifts that God has given you and turning them back to God and bringing souls to Christ? So when I come to speak, we're going to be talking about the what of stewardship, but more particularly about the how of stewardship, because it's important for us to know how to proceed. We need a clear path forward. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on June 29th when I see you online in Toronto. Until then, I pray that you stay healthy, and may God bless you, and may the Lady of Guadalupe hold you in the crossing of her arms.
Calling all lay people, especially ministers, catechists, chaplaincy leaders, and other pastoral workers. Hello, I'm Josephine Lombardi, an associate professor at St. Augustine Seminary in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. And I'm so excited about presenting a workshop for our preaching conference coming up in June 2020. Apart from teaching seminarians full-time, I teach a course called Lay Ministry in the Diocesan Church for our lay students. One of the units of this course is on lay preaching, so I will be presenting on this topic during my webinar for the June conference. My workshop is designed to give an introduction to the when, where, and how of lay preaching. We're all called to evangelize and make disciples. Preaching is a powerful way of evangelizing, and some lay people may not know they are allowed to preach in some contexts. This is why formation for lay ministers in the area of preaching is a must. We are called to collaborate with clergy when it comes to sharing the good news. This workshop will provide a brief overview of the legalities associated with lay preaching and a model for planning and facilitating a preached reflection for retreats, prayer services, parish missions, and other opportunities that allow for lay preaching. We will study some scriptural passages on the topic of stewardship, and I will conclude with a demonstration using the model I've designed for lay preachers and for use in theological reflection seminars for field placements for our students. The first half of the workshop will provide a brief overview of church teaching on lay preaching, including the legalities associated with it, and the second half will provide a model that can be used in preparation of preached reflections. The theme of stewardship will guide our discussion and examples. So I'm so excited about this opportunity. I really hope you join us and that you spread the word. Thank you and God bless.